Welcome back to episode 112 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, I-Man.
Yo.
All right, and to the left of me, you got Corv, the developer of MetaZone. Welcome for being here, dude.
Hey, thanks for having me once again. It's been a while.
Yeah, dude. How long has it been? Like a few months at least, right?
At least a couple months.
So we used to do this regularly, give regular like updates on the happenings in the MetaZone in the Decentraland front.
That's right.
Yeah, then I got COVID.
Yeah.
On New Year's Eve.
Dude, we didn't even really we kind of like hid that from the community, didn't we? Like,
we got to be respectful for disclosing some of this stuff. It's like personal stuff, right? But it does impact the community because there was like a long silence in our Discord for a while.
So there's that. Yeah, there's that aspect. But it's not like.
Nah, it's not. I didn't mind. I think we eventually informed people here and there.
Yeah, I did. I definitely leaked it. I was like, yo, it was like Oscar.
He's almost dead.
You got the bug, dude.
He almost died.
Nah,
yeah, well, not that intense.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. It was like 2 weeks of hardcore feeling the symptoms, but definitely got better. It was definitely hard getting back into the flow.
Yeah, that's the thing with like development or anything creative is that once you get into the zone, you don't want to leave the zone because it takes so much work to get back into the momentum of things.
Yeah, true. Exactly.
That's I think that's just like life in general.
That applies to everything,
like
for sure.
Exercise.
Oh yeah.
Eating healthy. Whatever.
Yeah, exercising has taken a back seat, with all this COVID stuff. That's been a problem.
Who, for you personally?
Yeah, for me personally, yeah.
Yeah, I think what do they call it? Like you gain COVID-15 or COVID-20, COVID-30.
They even have that? Damn.
Yeah,
the COVID-19.
Yeah, people say that. Yeah.
Yeah, COVID-19. Yeah.
Yeah, the COVID-19.
COVID-19 could be.
Yeah, the 19 pounds additional. Yeah.
Yeah, from being immobile.
So yeah, we've there's a little bit of a break there just because of like personal stuff, and then Texas froze over.
Yeah.
So that made it really difficult for us to get together.
Yep, true.
But
now
lost power.
Yeah, we lost power.
I slept in my vehicle for the 2 nights that I didn't have power.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, your Tesla? Kept you nice and toasty in there?
Yeah, inside the garage with the garage door closed, not trying to commit suicide.
Oh my God,
it's
dude.
an EV.
Yeah.
So
I still wouldn't trust
toasty.
I wouldn't have done that. You kidding me?
It has no exhaust, bro.
Yeah.
You never know. There could be like some weird leak, like some battery
fumes,
some ions seeping out of that fucking chamber, dude. It's like fucking with your brain somehow.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely perfect because I had Netflix going and the internet, everything.
Oh yeah.
All built into the vehicle. So
that's crazy, man. That's why I'm waiting for the Tesla Cybertruck, dude. That's gonna be that on steroids.
Why? Just because it's like a bigger,
bigger compartment.
Yeah, you're just more comfortable
with that. It's cool because it's got plugs, so you could have plugged stuff into the vehicle if during that freeze power outage.
That's true.
Plug your fridge into it, the freezer into it.
Yeah, that's true. You could just plug your appliances into it.
And it barely uses anything from how big the battery is.
Yeah, that's true. But what's the update on the Cybertruck? Is that coming out at the end of this year?
So they're building a factory in Austin, Texas, not too far away from us, and that factory is going to be pumping out Cybertrucks.
Oh, that's cool.
I think from the very get-go, it's going to be Cybertrucks. I'm pretty sure.
I wonder what the allocation is. Is it dependent on the geography? Are we going to get Cybertrucks closer to?
I mean, that's how they used
Austin?
to roll them out. The closer you are to the factory, you can even pick it up from the factory.
That's what I would do.
So drive over to Austin. Why not? Drive back in a Cybertruck.
Yeah, get over there in 3 hours. You come back in an hour and a half, right?
I can't believe people still want that thing, dude. We watched that fucking demo live, dude. What a disaster!
Are you telling me you don't like the Cybertruck?
I mean, no.
Come on.
What I'm saying is the fucking demo was a disaster, dude.
The polygons.
We watched that shit live, dude.
So what?
So it was a dude. Total fail fest, dude.
Yeah,
like this is like the next Microsoft Zoom, dude, or somewhere.
Your reaction almost went viral, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
I don't remember my reaction. It was probably like everyone else. Yeah, like WTF, mate. Like what a fucking fail. How dare you?
The glass breaking.
Yeah. How dare you like not showcase.
Inform us of this design.
I don't know, but it turned out to be anything Elon does turns to gold, So that was just like a darling moment for him. He's like,
he even touched crypto for a little bit.
Oh yeah, so
a little bit, dude. A lot of it, dude. He's definitely touching.
Yeah,
crypto.
so did he end up selling that NFT that he created, or was that just like I
don't know.
A sham?
I was looking into that. I was trying to find out. I wanted to see the bidding action.
I think
for
he
it.
chose not to sell it for some reason or another. I don't know if he got like some accounting advice and they told him not to. But so far he hasn't sold it yet.
Okay.
He got offered like $69 million by Beeple, dude.
No way.
Yeah.
I think no way, dude. That sounds incorrect.
No, he tweeted, "I'll give you $69 million for it."
Oh, okay.
And then Elon responded, "420 Doge, which is less than $69 million."
Yeah.
Dude, fucking memers, dude.
Something, yeah.
I guess this is what happens when you get like super rich. You
Yeah.
just like meme your way to fucking, I don't know.
You meme your way through
life.
communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just like meme your way through communities.
But yeah, the biggest impact that Elon had was putting $1.5 billion of Tesla holdings into Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you're so hesitant on Bitcoin, man, if you got like Elon dumping in his little shekels into it.
Well, what do you mean by hesitant? Like
Just
I should only be loading up on Bitcoin?
No,
or
not
what?
that. It's like
If I did that, we wouldn't have a show. You know what I mean? Like I would have no reason to be talking about these coins and shit every fucking day.
yeah.
You know what I mean? This would be the Bitcoin show. We'd be what Bitcoin did again. You know, we'd be Peter McCormick.
It's
2.0.
done it again.
Yeah, but that's so boring, man. That's my resistance. I can't get excited about Bitcoin.
Oh, just one?
Well,
Yeah.
it's more of like it's not necessarily excited, but we know where it's going, and I don't know. Talking about where it's going and like predicting it, like that's the exciting part.
Yeah,
Because we know where it's going. Now the debate is when it's actually going to get there, and I don't know if it's a question of if anymore. I think it is.
True.
Because think about it. Once let's give ourselves a decade, right? 10 years from now, 2031, we're gonna be looking at a Bitcoin that's like on average $1 million,
okay.
right? And then we're gonna look back 10 years to right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna ask ourselves, how was this not obvious?
How was it not obvious?
Yeah, that we were gonna get to $1 million.
Just to buy into Bitcoin.
Bitcoin was not gonna get into $1 million range.
Well, no technology is obvious in the beginning, right?
No,
like there's
I think
always
so.
like
no,
resistance.
wait. That's not true. When the internet was first like introduced to the public, it's easy to extrapolate like the ability that everybody's going to be able to communicate with each other.
I don't
in a
think
cheap
so,
way.
bruh. Dude, have you not seen those YouTube videos of like like hey,
Oh
what
because
is
you
email?
got plebs. Those
What's
are
up,
plebs.
Yeah, true.
We're not plebs. We understand the tech.
Well,
It's different.
that's why we're doing what we do.
We're like nerds. We're the nerds of the back in 1989
Yeah.
projecting what the internet is going to turn into.
Yeah, I understand that. I agree with that. That's why we're working so hard to kind of like, leverage that knowledge, right?
Yes.
To do something with it.
Yeah.
Create something with it.
And it reminds me of why we're so big into the metaverse, specifically Decentraland.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yes.
an entry point
Yeah, it's so
to
hard to
the future.
define how important or how big Decentraland can get. And I think the Achilles heel is that understanding, because once devs like Oscar get into Decentraland, they're going to make all kinds of stuff, all kinds of like from the squirrely to the most useful stuff in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
And the Achilles heel is getting that understanding, because once they understand it, Decentraland could easily be a $40 billion project.
Yeah, the reason why it's not obvious yet is because nobody has really made it obvious.
Exactly.
Nobody's made it like
true.
There hasn't been a real reason for people to really pay attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the same sense, like, nobody paid attention to crypto at first until
Yes, that's right.
Bitcoin made it a reason like to pay attention to it. Like,
Yeah,
nobody
nobody paid attention to NFTs until Top Shots.
Yeah,
like,
Top Shots.
Yes, that's right.
popped
People.
out. All the
I-
artists.
So as soon as we get like these headline grabbers from the metaverse community, like the freaking somebody, I guess one scenario would be the land valuation itself has to skyrocket. Somebody selling, I bought this piece of land for $10K and I sold it for $10 million.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're far away from that kind of headline happening.
I
think
think we are far away from that.
Yeah, I think
agree.
other things have to happen first. But what I'm saying is something has to happen. Either it's like a game item that was acquired in the metaverse
for
or
millions of dollars.
something. Yeah. So until that happens, then it's not obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. And that's the thing. We have to make it obvious by building these tools and getting the idea out there that this is possible.
Yeah.
And so it's like any other platform out there. Like one of the ones that we were following, previously to our crypto involvement was like Stripe. Stripe was ended up becoming such a huge corporation, and all they did was just make it easy for developers to accept credit cards.
Really?
That's it. In a little snippet of code onto your website, you can accept credit cards.
Why was that so difficult? Why did it take so long for that to like hit the market? You know,
I think it was difficult to identify this pain point, which was obvious to developers but not obvious to regular people.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's sort of what we're seeing with the graph right now. The graph is so extremely undervalued, and it's undervalued because regular people don't understand the purpose of the graph, but developers do.
Yeah, true. And now Stripe is like the biggest startup that came out of California, so Silicon Valley.
That's true. And like if you look at these huge corporations that came before Stripe, like Visa and MasterCard, they just dumped all their money into these companies just to stay relevant. And we're going to see that in the crypto space too. Visa and MasterCard are already accepting cryptocurrencies to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And so just because if you're watching this, then you're extremely early into this space, and figuring out what the problems are in the crypto space right now is how you're able to leverage this knowledge and make a profit out of it potentially.
Yeah. That's the big driver of it all is the fact that it's not just knowledge that you acquire. There's multiple streams of
potential revenue.
Yeah, there's a lot of different opportunity in the space.
True.
A lot more than was present in the .com era. You had to be a developer to make it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You just
be a pure speculator. In this market.
Cash. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you just need capital. You could just allocate capital and support some of these new technologies, and then it's like, oh man, I'm chilling now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Totally different ball game. I mean, I guess you could too in the stock market. So yeah. I mean, there's speculative tools in all.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel the same. Because think about it, in the stock market, these are fully fleshed companies with revenues and like.
Not
already,
back then though.
.com and not lately apparently.
Yeah, but,
with the
that's true.
SPACs, I think that's what they call them.
Oh yeah, dude, those SPACs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you know about those, Oscar?
I mean, just that like new companies that have no sales, no products that have been released to the public, they're able to get onto the stock market via these SPACs.
Yeah.
And people are going to speculate on whether or not they're going to succeed from the get-go. So
yeah,
it's a little similar to crypto in a sense, but
it's a lot of similar to like IDOs.
It's like a loophole.
Like
See, but the thing is, in crypto, you can have like a startup of one person with a website and a white paper, like generate so much capital with a token than you would otherwise have in the traditional world, where you're a startup, you're one guy with one website selling like whatever gadget online,
begging to VCs to invest in your idea.
Yeah. So it becomes, we talk about this all the time from the perspective of the government. How do they get their hands on some of this stuff when it's so easy for like one guy with a website to generate so much funds?
Yeah. How do you regulate anything like that?
Yeah. So,
but that's the whole thing with decentralized everything, which is a big theme in crypto. So, I mean, that's the whole idea to avoid all these limitations by certain countries and just thrive in a different way.
Yeah, and which goes back to Decentraland, which their entire stack is they're aiming to become completely decentralized, so that world is going to be completely governed by its users, and which is why we're so bullish on it, because
it's very similar to the internet.
Yeah, it's not only because we have a project in that space, but because we see that there's a huge potential in it, and it's going to take an entire community to build it. Like, we can't do it ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this podcast is about developers and creators coming on and building Decentraland, right?
This podcast?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like
are we randomly came up with that title, that theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Topic.
dude. Yeah. Let's get into that then. So, Decentraland sitting at what, like $1.5 billion market cap? It's a much bigger beast than it was probably the last time we talked about it.
Yeah. I mean, for the last year that we've been in Decentraland, like actively building, it was averaging like 100 million, 150 million on
Market
average.
cap?
Market cap, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely feeling the brunt of the bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything was at the time. So
Mhm.
nobody really knew. Nobody knew how long it would take for NFTs to blow up. And metaverse still
Yeah.
roughly speaking, hasn't really blown up to that level.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you Google search trends
Trends, NFT versus
like metaverse, or maybe just try Decentraland to see what happens. But NFTs are absolutely booming right now.
Yeah, it'd be good to know how Decentraland is doing in Google Trends.
But you know what? NFTs are trending, but not every single NFT is like going for tens of thousands of dollars.
I mean,
I don't know.
not
I
every
don't know.
single, but it's pretty hard to miss in these days. You got freaking pixel cats and shit like going bonkers. You got people making crypto avocados and stuff like that. I mean, they might not be making a killing, but
Oh shit! Look at this.
what is that?
Decentraland.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, check
at
that
that.
out, dude.
It's like people are searching for this.
Does that tie directly into the 10x or 9x of
Probably.
It
of
is
Decentraland
absolutely,
or Mana?
absolutely. So now let's zoom out to 5 years
5 years.
and see.
Wow.
So this is the 2017. This is when it was like all-time high, 32 cents.
December.
And then now Decentraland
2017.
searches dwarfed that by what is that? 30%? 3 times.
That's interesting to see. See, whenever Bitcoin's chart looks like that's concerning.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now obviously if you compare Decentraland to Bitcoin, I mean Decentraland is going to be a nothing.
Like a straight flat line, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Flat.
Flat line.
But yeah, like as soon as the Bitcoin sentiment makes 2017 look like a little blip on the radar,
Exactly.
that's like our exit signal, or
For
one
sure.
of them.
You get that?
Mm-mm.
Like once this looks like one of these, and this peak is happening over here, that's your sell signal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the current day sentiment totally outweighs the last previous cycle sentiment. That just means that's a clear indicator of like, retail awareness, maximum retail awareness. It's just all the signs of like, we're past like rationalization. You know what I mean?
So just to
Sheer hype.
reiterate, this peak here happened when Bitcoin was at $20,000, dude.
Mm-hmm.
$20,000 here, and that's when people were searching for
Mhm.
Bitcoin way more than they're searching it now, even though right now it's at $60,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this tells us that we're not logical humans, right? We're not logical beings.
Yeah, at
Because
that point.
you would think that, oh shit, we're past all-time highs. You'd think that people would be searching it more often than they were in 2017.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. So
Yeah.
that tells us that once it gets to $100,000, it can easily get to $200,000 because this little peak here is going to start getting closer to 100%,
Mm-hmm.
and then making this smaller and smaller.
So the fact that Decentraland's already looking that way. So let's get rid of Bitcoin. Let's put NFTs up there. Let's take a
Okay.
look.
So delete this, remove, and NFT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I like it.
Decentraland is just getting a little smidge of that, like action
Yeah.
in comparison. But yeah, obviously people are searching for NFTs way more. And then look at DeFi. Remember we kept talking about DeFi for like a year,
Mm-hmm.
and we were saying that this is going to be like the greatest thing.
The biggest catalyst to the next bull market.
And look at this.
Not anymore, dude.
NFTs are dominating DeFi.
Yeah, completely crushed DeFi. DeFi is not even part of the narrative anymore. It's literally
not.
that Squidward meme where he's like inside his house watching SpongeBob and fucking Patrick playing outside.
I mean,
like,
it kind of makes sense because with NFTs, there's so many regular people that can get into it, and DeFi, it's very specific type of crowd that could get into it.
Yeah.
100%. That was the original postulation of the NFT, pioneers, right? Like the crypto cat creators and the
Yeah. That's right.
all these the true NFT OGs. Like that's what that. If you read their original white papers, that's what they said. The motivation for doing this, because it was largely unproven back then, right? Like they definitely took a risk and a gamble. Like, we're gonna make this digital cat. We're gonna give it a blockchain ID, and we're just gonna see if it works. But the reason why we're doing this is because if this takes off like we think it will, then this is going to be the anchor that's going to bring the mainstream attention to the crypto space. It's going to make blockchain digestible to the common man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DeFi will never do that because the common man doesn't understand how finance works, how money works.
Even though it's easy to understand that in DeFi you can get, higher returns on your deposits compared to a bank, right? You're in a bank you get like 0.01%, but in DeFi you can get like up to 20-30%. And in some cases, if you're in like Shitsville, you're gonna get like 2,000, 10,000% interest.
Yeah.
So even though it's far more like useful, DeFi is, it's a lot more easier to understand for the regular person what NFTs can do than what DeFi can do.
Yeah, and the attraction, the allure, like Top Shots,
Yeah.
and these games that have NFTs and integrated directly is just more enticing to own them and buy them and own them and play them than DeFi stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even Maddie from DCL Blogger, he just recently tweeted that he predicts the utility aspect of NFTs like exploding in the next 6 months.
Or at least like the narrative, people's understanding, like this is the next wave. And we kind of covered that. If you watched the Uniswap video, the most recent one we're putting out here, I guess it would be yesterday's video if you're watching this now.
Yeah.
Uniswap is releasing or integrating NFTs into their like liquidity pool. What do you want to call it, dude? Like
it's capability.
It's
like a representation of like the fee allocation or something like that. It's very weird. They came up with like a whole new pool model that's like you can customize it a little bit.
It's called liquidity efficiency.
And concentrated pool and liquidity or something like that.
Yeah, so instead of providing liquidity for just a pair of tokens, like let's say DAI versus USDC, right? Yeah. If you're providing liquidity for DAI USDC in the world of V2, which is today's Uniswap, right? You're providing liquidity for the whole range of prices, right? But in V3, you're providing liquidity for a narrower range of prices, which means you need to provide less liquidity for a narrower range to get the same impact in terms of fees that you would earn.
Yeah, and the reason why you do that is just to kind of like you're allocating to the range that you think the market will be active within. So like you don't have to spread your capital so thinly across the whole market range. You could just I'm anticipating the market of the price of ETH is going to fluctuate between 1,500 to 2,000 for I don't know however long I have it.
Yeah.
However long I'm providing liquidity, so therefore I need less capital and I get the same reward, and which is fucking great. But the reason, so now because of that, no LP provider is like the same. Like now they have unique qualities to them, and the only way to really represent that allocation of contribution, I guess, is through NFTs. Because the whole purpose of NFTs, like they're all unique.
Yes.
No one is the same.
Yes.
So you can't just release these fungible tokens out and reward these LP providers anymore. Like it's a whole different utility, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beginning of what we're seeing. Like NFTs are expanding past just being, PNGs and GIFs. Yeah. Now they have some real utility to them.
Yes.
So
I mean, the implication is that once you're a liquidity provider in this V3 version of Uniswap, you get this NFT because you provided X amount of liquidity. I guess the implication is that once you get these NFTs, that you can trade these NFTs in the open market. I would imagine. Or the other aspect is in V2 world, you get these LP tokens, which I don't know. I don't think LP tokens are tradable. I don't think they're tradable.
Tradable? I don't think so. But I think you could use them on other applications like Balancer or something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. But regardless, like it's just nice to see, the merger of DeFi and NFTs, something we've been talking about for a while.
It reminds me of, the dollar, meaning like this piece of paper is a representation of value.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what these NFTs sound like.
A representation of liquidity.
Yep, exactly.
Dang, yeah, that's true. So,
now layers and layers of craziness.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're right. It's infinite, right? Like we don't know what's going to come of this.
See, but that's the thing. That's, if you watch our previous video, yesterday's video, you'll start to understand there's value in like forking these protocols and like just doing squirrely shit like we've seen before, like with Sushi Swap, and because these projects, they end up coming with innovations that end up being applied to projects, like legitimate projects, like yield farming. Yield farming has become the staple of DeFi, and it used to be a degen thing.
True.
Right? Now it's like part of DeFi.
Yeah.
Right?
It was yeah.
So now those yield farms that used to yield like 10,000% for like sushi tokens and all these like food tokens, now they're being applied as a gamification mechanic for legitimate projects
And games.
and
a lot
games.
of blockchain games, yeah. It's almost like the player base and user base. If you're going to claim to be like a play to earn type game, you got to incorporate like some legitimate earning opportunities.
Yeah,
And the best way to do
absolutely.
that is like integrating DeFi and yield farming and all this stuff into your game itself,
Yeah.
which I think is like a brand new concept. It's
Yeah.
still largely being tested and whatnot through a bunch of games, but
Yeah.
for sure the market's definitely demanding it, because
Yeah,
I mean,
the pace of innovation is much quicker with open source projects and people just trying out different things and seeing what sticks. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
it's pretty cool.
which is
That's-
another fucking interesting thing, caveat to the whole Uniswap conversation, because
Yeah.
now they have like a licensing.
Yeah, I want to
agreement.
get your opinion, Oscar. So what Uniswap is doing is, from the macro perspective, Uniswap is innovating in the space. They're actually like building new things and like trying new things for their protocol, right? So what they've instituted now is this business source licensing, where no one can just fork the protocol and use it for their own monetary gain. They have to pay a license to Uniswap, which is a new thing in the crypto space, because it used to be everything was open. But now these projects like Sushi Swap and all these other projects that were siphoning liquidity from Uniswap, they were, I guess, bringing down the use case for Uniswap.
Yeah, they were definitely siphoning away that network
Yeah,
effect for
stealing
sure.
market share in that
Yeah, exactly.
particular use case.
And so I guess from Uniswap's perspective, if they're going to be investing in their own protocol and building new functionalities that they think that they're just going to get jacked and copied, they're saying, okay, you can go and take the protocol and you can make a derivative of it, whatever it is, as long as you don't make a profit off of it. And so if you do want to make a profit off of it, then you have to pay us a license.
Yeah, it's definitely odd in the sense of the open source,
Yeah.
original aspect of the crypto community. My initial question is like, how would they police that?
Yeah.
I mean,
how do they
'cause-
enforce that?
Yeah,
I don't think they will.
I don't think they can.
That's my speculation. That
I don't think they will
so
either.
there's just a little bit less competitors versus like
Yeah.
I think it's
free reign.
I think it's going to become like standardized in this industry, in the sense that if you're building a new protocol and you're leveraging this technology that a previous protocol pioneered, it's just a very bad like reflection on your image, your PR of your own protocol, if you're not going to actually abide by these licensing agreements.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like future protocols will start to deploy this. So if you want to be like, legitimate, at least in the eyes of maybe like institutional investors, something like that, you
Speculators.
better follow the rules of whatever it is the crypto industry is like coming up with, whatever
yeah.
we're establishing as that standard.
Yeah. For
Now, if
sure.
you want to be anonymous, you want to be like this renegade developer, build this community of like straight rebels and shit, and compete against this sentiment, and you're like, you know what, fuck that, dude. I don't believe in licenses. I don't believe in corporatization.
Yeah.
Like, open source everything, decentralize everything.
Yeah.
You could do that, and what are they going to do?
Yeah.
They can't do anything.
They can't do much.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, you're missing out on that benefit of that.
right, that
Legitimacy.
that
Yeah.
longevity.
Yeah, you don't
capability.
Yeah, exactly. You're always going to have that stamp on you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they didn't abide by the licensing standard of the crypto space, so
Yeah. It
they're now forever labeled as like these renegades.
Yeah, it becomes a business etiquette. In order, if you're going to make a derivative of a product, you just pay the license for that product, especially if they're licensing under a particular scheme.
Now, whether or not the market's going to care or not, that's to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the price of Uni after their announcement today, I mean, it just didn't do anything. It just went down.
Yeah,
But if you think about, what you're supposed to do on announcements, I mean, typically you sell the news and buy the rumors, right?
Yeah.
So this is sort of like expected, but ultimately, this announcement from Uniswap, this liquidity provision thing, it's not for the regular people. It's not for the speculators. It's for the liquidity providers who have millions of dollars into these pools.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for them, and that's the engine, right?
True. So they're more confident that there won't be further competitors or whatever trying to
That's
steal
true.
market share. And
That's true, dude. That's a good point. Now, if you're a liquidity provider providing liquidity for like some shitcoin, now you're going to go towards Uniswap because they're the ones innovating in the space, doing new things, have higher potential, and there's sort of like a light legal implication with this licensing.
Yeah, or at least there's some resistance now to this sushi effect happening.
Yeah.
Where we're just going to see clone after clone after clone. Like if they did not implement this, probably by next month after deployment, you'd see like 10 clones.
Yeah.
Easily on every single chain in existence.
Yeah.
You're just going to see everything V3.
Yeah.
Quick swap V3, fucking zero exchange V3,
Yeah.
like pancake swap V3, like everyone, dude. They're just gonna do the same thing,
Yeah.
and they know that. So it's interesting, man.
and if it works, I mean, that's the purpose. Like if it
Yeah. Think about
does
it.
what it needs to do, then
But like you said,
why
though,
not?
it might
them
slow
all?
down innovation. Like you said, you kind of started off by saying like the
True.
whole open source. The purpose behind open sourcing thing is to accelerate innovation, right?
Yeah, it was because Sushi Swap, or I think it was Sushi that instituted these crazy returns. Remember, we looked at it the first time. We were like, dude,
Yeah.
this is a scam. How do you get 10,000% out of a token?
Yeah, if Uniswap was never open sourced, Sushi might not have ever existed, or
That's true.
Yam and all these like OG yield farming protocols, and we might never have found out about yield farming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's true.
the potential upside is like you bring in like the classic community, the normies to kind of like
Yeah.
start to buy into all this stuff instead of
Absolutely.
completely open source and like
Yeah, now that it's sort of like there's business etiquette, now you can have like institutions start like dabbling into this space, and they have the most liquidity out of all the markets out there, right?
Yeah,
The traditional finance.
yeah,
so it could be a sign of stabilization.
it definitely is. It's
Yeah.
a sign of maturing for sure.
It is.
But
Yeah.
I definitely foresee like some conflict happening. I call it drama, just because like not everybody wants this space to mature. They want to keep it
yeah, degen.
completely
True.
degen, degen, decentralized. True to the nature of like the OGs.
Yeah, renegades. Like
Yeah.
The Wild West.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because once traditional finance gets into crypto, it becomes less sexy.
yeah, normies ruin everything, dude.
Yeah.
There's clear history of that. Like
Yeah.
everything that used to be cool, once the normies arrive, like totally lamed everything. Like gaming, just the internet in general. Dude, internet used to be so much cooler, like in the early 2000s.
Once your mom is on Facebook, there's no
Yeah.
yeah, who
No.
wants to be on Facebook anymore?
Yeah.
Same thing, dude. Now once crypto becomes too normie friendly, it's like, what's the next cool thing?
True.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine what's going to be cooler than like crypto like in 10 years like I
Freaking
can't
biotech.
well,
well,
Biotech's pretty fucking
hopefully
cool.
But-
metaverses and
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's true,
yeah,
reality
yeah.
and
for sure.
getting jacked into the matrix.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, they're linking ourselves.
I mean,
into the
people are already
metaverse, dude.
starting to work in the digital world. The
Yeah,
True.
man.
Yeah, Decentral Games.
Central Games
They're
Casino.
They're worth $100 million, man. Congrats to you guys.
Yeah, shout out to Boss, dude. He's
Yeah.
one of these
Yeah.
OG guys.
Keeping that innovation going.
Yeah, so yeah, man.
We're gonna start to dabble a little bit finally into that.
Yeah, we're gonna look into figuring out like how we can play into that space because that is how you're supposed to conduct yourself as a crypto company, right?
What, giving people jobs, like virtual jobs?
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah.
I mean, technically, if you're a landowner today and you have some of our revenue generating content, you want traffic to funnel to your location,
Yeah.
and you do need to sometimes teach people how to do
Yeah.
how to pay for the stuff that you're offering.
Absolutely.
So it's instead of you being there, like as a landowner, like physically talking to people, and you could pay somebody else to do that for you,
Mhm.
and then you just pay them a salary or whatever type of employee compensation.
Yeah,
that,
man.
that you can think of.
There's a ton of people out
Coins.
there that it's hard for them to earn a living in the countries that they're in. And, just making anything in the crypto space is more than enough for them to like survive for a month.
Yeah.
Like these airdrops have paid for years of life for people in other countries.
It's true, man. For those of y'all who don't know what we're talking about, like what are these airdrops he's speaking of? It's the incentive just to be engaged in this space and participate in as much as you can, because you just never know when one of these airdrops are going to happen. You don't know which protocol you're interacting with today.
Yep.
A year from now might be like this beautiful, flourishing ecosystem,
Yeah.
and you get a little piece of that just because you know interacted with it a year in the past. Yeah, like you're saying, that could be life changing for you.
Yeah.
And it is for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
that Uniswap, dude, we let that one go.
Yeah.
Fucking A, dude. I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah. So Uniswap airdropped 400 tokens, and right now it's worth like almost 20 grand.
Yeah. So I mean, to us Yanks, like that's like 1 month's expenses, you know. But if you live somewhere else in the rest of the world, you know, that's
like
life changing.
5 years of expenses.
I don't know, maybe, yeah, I guess depends
Yeah.
where you are.
Depending.
Yeah, it depends where you are. But I mean, that's
Real
what,
stimulus right there, dude.
dude. Hell yeah, man! 1,400 shekels for like a pandemic in the United States, like barely
Yeah.
scratching by.
True.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the whole purpose of cryptocurrencies is that it enables the entire planet to get involved. All you need is an internet connection, which has its different implications, right? You need,
I mean, Elon's working on that too.
yeah,
with,
that's true.
SpaceX and
Dude, Elon is working on all the fundamental
Starlink.
requirements for life.
Yeah.
All of them?
Pretty much all of them. Well, not all of them.
I mean,
what about food?
food he hasn't touched yet.
He's getting into even biology with helping
Yeah.
out with the vaccine, and then working on, I think there's like mRNA stuff, vaccines. So
I mean, if I were Elon, I'd be doing the exact same thing, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, see, this is what I mean by like biotech could
Yeah.
be that next big frontier.
But you know what? It might be like in terms of like innovation and tech, but it's not equally as speculative as crypto.
Meaning like the
You
common
could-
man can't really benefit from it,
Yeah,
like
you-
financially.
You really can't. I mean, the only way to be like a cavalier in biotech is to be the first guy to get that brain implant.
yeah, yeah. That's
You
what I
know?
was gonna say. Elon is definitely speculating on which ways to make the bets on to create these things. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy. You know what? Blockchain is probably going to have a fundamental role in there, like especially with AI. But it's a long way before we get to AI on blockchain. 'Cause I don't know. Remember the episode in Silicon Valley? They had that episode where if the AI were able to get onto a blockchain, it would be unstoppable. It would be completely decentralized. Think about AI running as a EVM, like a Solidity smart contract in all these different nodes. The AI would be unstoppable, just like a smart contract is
a
unstoppable.
decentralized AI.
Yeah, decentralized AI.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean though, as implication wise? Like it just
Oh, it just means
is
that
nothing is telling it what to do.
it would be autonomous,
Okay.
and if it decided to figure out a way to destroy Earth, it could. Nothing could stop it because it's on running all these nodes. You'd have to turn off all the nodes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Right.
Yeah, which is not doable, obviously.
I mean, it's doable if people like, let's say all the nodes were like, oh shit, we have a rampant AI running on our computers.
Yeah, but the likelihood of how much consensus do you need? You need 100% consensus to like shut off that.
Oh, you
network?
would need 100% for sure.
That's never going to happen.
I mean, that's what all the movies are about, where this decentralized AI just jumps from computer to computer,
Yeah.
kind of like
That's right.
running away from, people trying to shut it down. So
Yeah.
Oh no, dude.
So that's what blockchain enables.
Terminator, like what
Fuck.
is it? What was the
Yeah, it's like
computer in Terminator?
TI.
What was the company that started it all?
Oh, Skynet.
Skynet. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who's Skynet? Is that,
That
is
was
that Binance?
That was exactly what William's talking about.
No. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
who
like,
would
who's
be the
this-
company?
who would
Yeah,
be
maybe
today?
it might be Binance, dude.
Binance would do something like that.
Because they would
dude.
invest in like all kinds of blockchain AI and all this.
Oh hell yeah, they would. Are you
And-
kidding me?
And then Elon would be like, "Hey, don't do that."
Yeah, like they'd probably cap. Yeah, exactly. They would integrate the AI just for like a pure marketing play, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not realizing like what they're unleashing on
Yeah.
the planet. I could totally see Binance doing that.
Yeah, and we sort of had this conversation before where, if AI is as intelligent as we think it can be, it would be intelligent enough to determine, like, hey, you know what, humans, they're just dumb, and because they were dumb, they were destroying the planet, but they're not that dumb to, like, continue destroying the planet because they're going to kill themselves. So I think the AI would help humans figure out there's a better way to do it.
I don't know. There's a lot of AI text AIs that get all extremely racist, like very quickly, just because
you
it
know
reads
what?
everything on the internet
But
as
you
its
know
data
why?
source.
But you know why it's racist?
That is crazy. Yeah.
Just because the amount of data, like
Exactly. The amount of data online is probably
negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
And like,
But
there's a lot of
so they're
racism.
reading all of that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that just means the majority of our sentiment is
It's
we are racist.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually interesting.
Well, it's not the majority of our sentiment, but it's just the majority of our digitized.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
communications.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we spend the
communications.
majority of our
'Cause
lives
those
in the virtual
negative
space.
people decide
Yeah.
to talk more than positive people.
Yeah, you know what? When you're anonymous, you just say whatever you want. And like,
Yeah.
it's
And more often.
and more often, yeah. See, that's why, being anonymous has its benefits, but I think if you're going to create a society, I don't know if being anonymous is like conducive to creating a society,
Yeah, positive society.
like a positive, healthy society. And there's some elements to being anonymous. Like there's a project out there, Oscar, that allows you to interact with all these blockchains and tie an identity to your interactions. So, for example, if you interact with Uniswap and Decentraland, you start creating this unique identity on the blockchain.
This history.
Like this history, right? And so that could be an NFT, right? Your identity.
Yeah.
And then that NFT starts interacting with a new protocol. It's like, oh, this is this guy's history. Like he's interacted with Uniswap and he hasn't done anything shady. He hasn't hacked anybody. I'm going to allow him to use my protocol because throughout your life you've interacted with all these protocols and never scammed anybody. So now you're able to access.
Yeah,
this
kind of reminds me of GitHub and how developers use it to have a history of
exactly
stuff they've created to demonstrate their ability, and people take care of their profiles and keep putting out content.
But the new thing about this is that nobody knows who you are. They just know that you've interacted with these protocols and you haven't done anything shady.
Yeah.
So it's the on-chain version of you, basically.
Yeah,
Has nothing to do with your physical, identity assignment.
It's like your credit score.
It's
Yeah,
well, that's exactly
right.
the first use case for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is these zero collateral lending protocols, which obviously is like a huge sector in the traditional finance world, right? Like most people don't have collateral to borrow.
That's right.
True. I mean, because sometimes people ask us, hey, can I send you mana for this MetaZone and I just need a transfer in this format or whatever? And then we're like, I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, like, what are we going to lose? I trust you. But instead, we could look at their history.
That's right.
And say, like, okay, this is a legitimate, like, crypto dude. So he's got,
You know what?
he says what he...
That reminds me, there's going to be like sort of like a black market of identities. People, maybe there's a hacker or some scammer out there that'll buy your identity for like, $10,000.
Fuck yeah, they would.
And
that
then-
means like they have like
Yeah.
a master plan to like
Yeah.
screw over a bunch more people.
Yeah.
And people will sell it.
And they will sell it. And then you just have to start over with your new identity.
Yeah, just rebuild. It's going to be like, oh my god, yeah. There's going to be click farms. There's going to be like sweatshops somewhere in some location in the world where the people in this sweatshop is just to interact with blockchain.
Yeah.
Build these identities, like identity farming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sell these on that black market.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
That's rough. So there's gonna have to be some way to like identify that at least. Maybe I don't know. Leave it up to the super talented devs in this space to figure out how to identify
True.
like who the bad actors.
I mean, in that case, I mean, it's going to be tied to their wallet address, I would assume, versus like an NFT. That way, you'd have to get rid of your whole address
That's a good point.
to give up your identity.
Oof.
But then you could sell your private keys and then
Yeah, you can do it,
yeah.
but it'll be obvious. Like, hey, this guy sold all of his assets at one point,
Yeah.
and he started
That's true.
fresh.
Yeah.
Damn, that's true, man.
But I guess the buyer could buy all of his assets.
There would need to be some way to actually tie forever your activity online to a single immutable like account address, NFT, whatever it is. Maybe these NFTs are not sellable, right?
But I guess that's also what the government kind of wants. They want to track all activity. So,
Yeah, it does sound like Big Brother-ish, but I mean, there's actual like solid use cases for doing something like this, like not necessarily putting up collateral for a loan, which we have credit histories for that. So it's
just like your social media history. Isn't there platforms where instead of using Facebook, you can use this other platform and be the owner of your social media presence?
That's right.
And how the many ways you can monetize it.
Yeah,
So.
it's like we did a video on Brave, on the Brave browser or a basic attention token, and what they do is they essentially pay you to view ads, right? So there's a pop-up when you're using Brave, like, click on this pop-up to view the ad, and then you get paid for it. But what they do is they block all ads from your browsing experience, and instead they feed you their ads, right?
Replace them.
But having this sort of like capability from the blockchain perspective allows projects to think new about how to provide like new services without having to know somebody's like identity. And that's like, it's possible with the blockchain. It's just, you can see like a new path of hacking and new path of scammers, like leveraging that technology.
It's benefits and flaws.
That's always the case, isn't it?
It is.
There's always double-edged applications for it. I mean, but that's never like sometimes maybe it is a reason to like put the brakes on things. Like I guess
sometimes it is.
I guess AI, it might be one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
At least some people are trying to like make that case, but I think the pros outweigh the cons. I guess from today's perspective,
for sure.
So it's like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. We're taking that risk. YOLO.
Yeah, definitely.
Humanity,
if
YOLO.
you can free up humans from having to do manual labor, mental labor, then that's the reason why it is a benefit to society.
Yeah.
To the world.
Have you seen WALL-E, the movie?
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen WALL-E?
No, dude.
What?
No, dude.
Do you
How
like,
many times are you going to ask me, have you
a
seen
TV?
X movie? And like, I'm going to say no to that question.
I can't believe it. I'm shocked every single time.
Just assume I've never seen anything, dude. Assume I live under a rock. Like,
do you have a TV, man? Like,
that's debatable.
Not.
Debatable.
It's there, but it's broken.
Yeah.
But anyway, in this movie, it's a Pixar movie, by the way.
Okay.
And in this Pixar movie, there's this. I guess at the point of this movie, the world is completely like deprecated. It's
dystopian.
Like dystopian, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a ship, or what is that up there?
It's like a ship that houses all humans.
Yeah, all the humans. So all humans sit in a chair. Chair floats and like drives people around in the ship for like food, go to work and shit. But they're all like completely overweight and they don't have to do anything. Everything's like in their face, and it's a completely AI driven world. And the humans are there.
What are they doing?
Enjoying as much as possible.
Like
I can't remember if there was work.
They're just being entertained.
Maybe there wasn't work. I
maybe
guess.
just to maintain the ship, and that's about it.
Maybe they're all plugged into the metaverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all just playing fucking like Ethermon 12.0 or some shit like that, and like making a killing doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Battling out there in the metaverse. Isn't that what Ready Player One basically is? Just a lot less like obesity. Pretty much.
True. It was very physical.
Yeah, I mean, but in that sense,
oriented.
there was the planet was just fucked. I think like I didn't see much AI.
That's true.
Everyone was basically poor. I think.
Yeah, I think that was the main theme, that it was wide stratification from the rich and the poor.
Yeah. So it's exactly what it was. It's just two different settings, but like the same
sort of like feeling,
the same like prediction. Like at some point, like we're fucked pretty much. Like
that
in our future.
You know what's trippy is that we get a lot of our technology from shows and movies.
Yeah,
right?
man. Because they have, if you're creating a plot or like a story,
you need to.
All you do is think about like what's happening at this point in time, right? If I'm doing a future setting, so I mean that's good.
The trippy thing is that it could come true. Like there's a scenario, there's a path in the future where that could lead to like AI dominance, but the
AI were helpful in that movie, right? WALL-E?
I mean, they were cleaning up the planet at the same time.
Nice.
That's
true.
The AI.
It was.
Okay.
As slowly as they could. Yeah. Something like that.
So I mean, I think AI is going to play a huge role in technology, and it's even playing a role right now. Like on Twitter, it was trending that Tom Cruise, somebody was acting like Tom Cruise, and they just like deep faked him.
Yeah.
And look exactly like him. Like it would be extremely difficult to tell that it wasn't him. And like there's some glitches, like when he turns profile, like his nose like kind of disappears, but.
And what, the AI generated that?
It completely AI. Yeah.
Yeah. Deep fake.
Why?
Why would they do that?
No, like, so somebody told the AI to generate that,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
AI just felt like doing, like,
Yeah,
oh,
so
you know
what?
what? I want
So here's
Tom
how it
Cruise
works.
today.
So it works through machine learning, and AI is a celebrity. So we have tons of pictures and videos of Tom Cruise and different angles, different lighting conditions, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So then they take another video of a person just talking, walking in a camera, like talking to the camera, and what they do is they take all the imaging and all the processing that of all the movies that Tom Cruise has done, and they just mapped his face onto this actor and into this new video, and it looks exactly like Tom Cruise because technically it is Tom Cruise. It's all the
They're
pictures
displaying all the same pixels you would if it was
Yes.
actually Tom Cruise, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're looking at a screen, all you're looking at is just pixels,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
you could easily just reorganize that
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so when the guy's talking and he's turning, like it looks like Tom Cruise is talking and turning.
yeah.
So,
So what age bracket of Tom Cruise did they deliver?
it was
Yeah.
a youngish version, like Top Gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They went that far back?
So you knew it was young Tom Cruise, but
Yeah, well, that's obviously not him, right?
it's
He's
obviously not him.
yeah.
But if you were just watching that video, it looks like he took this video from like 1990s, and you know,
It's kind of cool because if we are able to upload our minds
yeah,
into computers,
Exactly.
then we could easily
We
have a
can-
digital version of ourselves.
we can persistently exist forever.
What would you have to do? Just like stand in front of like a camera, take like 1,000,000 360 shots of yourself, and then you can just replicate your body
entire
in
being.
the virtual.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
the fuck
that's
not, right?
kind of like what happens with your brain if you were able to upload it. Just take a whole bunch of
Yeah,
still shots of your brain and neurons, and then
that's true.
it gets digitally wired up in the digital space.
Yeah, so your consciousness is like in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but most likely
All your
people
memories.
people wouldn't want to inject their physical cells unless you like really are like
Like
sure.
already ripped.
yeah, you're like really into yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm perfect. You know, I don't
Yeah,
want to
that's what I'm
re-roll.
saying. You'd want to
Upload.
modify.
Yeah, no need for a re-roll here. It's like just put me in. But yeah, most people will customize their avatars.
Their avatar, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna customize it, and yeah, if you could inject yourself and
I mean,
become that avatar,
We
fucking
semi
A.
all started with a somewhat ourselves-esque avatar in Decentraland.
That's true. And then we've
And now
modified.
it's like, yeah, definitely modified.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing, man. Yeah, just the way how people like identify themselves through social media, right? Today,
Yeah.
like we share everything about ourselves on there, like what we eat,
Yeah.
the people we're sleeping with, the fucking clothes we wear, the shows we watch, you know, all that stuff. Yeah. See, that's whenever this chart we're looking at right here goes like straight up for the metaverse, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as like our identities, like what represents our identities is like in the virtual,
Yeah.
you know, through NFTs or whatever the fuck, you know, the wearables we're purchasing represents our identity. You know, the fucking houses we live in the metaverse represents like our taste and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Shit like that. As soon as that becomes like as permeated, I guess, is like our social networking identities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think some countries,
That's the unstoppable moment, I think.
some countries will get there before other countries.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like which ones? You got any predictions?
The digital friendly ones, or
Like Japan,
like
Yeah, Japan would be one.
South Korea,
China.
South Korea, yeah. China.
Japan.
Yeah, because in China they're already like having cameras in every single corner in the city. In
True.
Shanghai is like cameras everywhere,
Yeah.
and they're tracking every single movement.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Man, I guess we're gonna see that. Maybe we're gonna see that reality like relatively soon.
At least like
Yeah,
the
I
primitive
could see
version of
that.
it. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see the fucking consciousness injection part
that-
for
yeah.
like maybe after we're dead. I don't know.
And
we
then-
know plenty of Decentraland citizens that are definitely on that page of like showing off their gear,
they're flexing
their
hard
NFTs.
in Decentraland right now, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. So part of our job as these meta creators is to figure out how to all these NFTs we're collecting like out there in the webosphere, all these 2D GIFs, whatever the fuck. These are again representations of our identity in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The art that you're into, the music NFTs you're collecting. You know, it's kind of small now, but in the future it'll be huge. As soon as you can like bring all those NFTs into the metaverse and like use that as your showcasing platform, you know, so you can invite your friends to come to your
Yeah.
parcel.
Yeah.
Yo, check out all the cool shit I got, you know, Check
Look
out
at
my
this
new music
music.
NFT library. This is the shit I'm listening to these days, you know?
Yeah.
Check out my Cyber Jukebox.
Yeah.
Like, it's got all the cool shit.
Yeah.
You know, you want to hear Travis Scott's new album?
Yeah.
It's over here on my land. You know, you don't have to go. I don't know. How do you do that today? Like, you just talk, you type to each other on Facebook?
Well, you physically visit each other's
No, fuck that,
Yeah.
dude. Nobody does that
physical
anymore.
locations.
Yeah.
No more physical, dude.
You just send the Spotify link and check out my
Yeah, follow me, basically.
album.
That's so boring.
It is boring.
Follow my Instagram, follow my this, follow my that.
Yeah, dude.
It's connected, but it's also disconnected at the same time. Like the metaverse actually makes that connection.
Yeah. Okay, it's not physical, right? But there is like an intimacy layer
Yes.
there where you're present.
Yeah.
Even though it's like in a virtual representation of yourselves, you're still present, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, at least like consciously.
It's,
Whenever you're
it's
interacting on web interfaces, it doesn't
not the
feel
same.
intimate at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
True.
the same.
You never know who you're actually talking. It could be like some dude who hacked your friends at Facebook or something.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like you're sharing nudes with the wrong guy.
You're getting
You know what I
Yeah.
You never really know. So you need that intimacy, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's something.
More realistic
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah. That's something the metaverse can provide.
Yeah.
The trippy thing is that in Decentraland, we're not waiting for like Decentraland to build all this stuff. The community needs to build it.
Yeah, true.
So if you're
Yeah.
into like a specific sector of like the metaverse where you need to figure out, create a community around music, well, you got to build it.
Yep.
Yep.
Like it's there for the taking, and that's why we're taking advantage of this opportunity because we know how big it can get. You take a look at Second Life, $1 billion in a single year. Decentraland can do a 40x from there. Why? Because it's community owned, completely owned.
Yeah. Yeah, and Decentraland is cool because they any extra needs that you have as you're building out your content, they're eager to receive these requests for modifications, for improvements, so we can continue building the metaverse.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're really good about that. That's why we're big backers of
Yeah,
Decentraland's
Absolutely.
metaverse.
absolutely. So we're gonna be sharing some updates coming up pretty soon. There's gonna be a lot of updates, so you'll see them when you see them. That's for sure. So there's a lot of things going on with MetaZone. That's all good, and hopefully we're gonna try to figure out when we can share this stuff. But
Yeah.
it's not gonna be that much longer before we
Yeah.
start talking about.
Keep on holding. We're almost there.
Yeah, it's almost there. So, I mean, anything else?
Anything else that?
You're showing something like you're trying to block something.
Nothing, dude. I'm just, I mean, it probably doesn't look right on camera what I'm doing down here. But really, it's just a little stuffed animal.
Yeah.
But we'll save this for another day.
This little NFT over here.
That's a physical NFT right there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's a little, what do you want to call this? Like a freaking teaser?
Teaser, yeah.
There we go. So let it put it away. And yeah, we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's been the podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Blockrunner and also at MetaZone.io. Like, subscribe, let us know what you think about the metaverse and AI and everything that we talked about today. If you enjoyed the podcast, let us know. If you didn't enjoy it, send it to somebody you didn't like and have them hate it as well. And we will catch you in the next video.
All right. Peace.